Boy, we are fraught with medical issues, it seems, these days. Our clerk, as Kurt mentioned, or Clerk Jim Brannon, had a medical emergency, and I thought it was really very serious. I rushed to the hospital, and I found his lovely wife, Christine, there, and I fully expected the worst. And I was very concerned. I went to Christine, I said, tell me what's going on. And she says, don't worry, Brent. Jim is not going to be voting Democrat anytime soon. So our next report is from a good friend of Jim's, the Deputy Clerk of Kootenai County and acting chairman for the next few weeks of the Idaho Republican Party, living proof that a woman can do both jobs quite well. Jennifer Locke. She's going to give us a report from the Idaho GOP. Jennifer?
All right.
Very good, Dan.
I just want to start off and say that we're having a record-breaking leaky day. I love saying that. We have, I think, at least 475 here tonight. I went back with Chuck, and I want to thank Chuck at the hotel here. He's been phenomenal. We've been planning this since August, and he was able to book us these 3 days. But we went back for 15 years, and we realized 2008 was the next record was 435, and last year we had 330. So I want to thank all the sponsors and everyone participating in this. It means a lot. Kootenai County up here does a lot of work for the Republican Party, obviously, and I like to say we lead red here, and I'm proud of that. I was just telling Charlie that earlier, that we're definitely very conservative here. I want to start off and just mention Jim. As many of you know, Jim had a medical emergency on Monday, which he had to be transferred to Kootenai Medical Center. He's on his way to recovery. I got to see him on Thursday, and we got to speak and laugh for about an hour. And, I consider him not only my boss, but a really close friend. He's been so meaningful in my life in these last 2 years, as 2 months as Chief Deputy Clerk. So this is hard on me. And it certainly reminds me, puts perspective, what's important in life. My focus right now is to try to keep his wife, Christine, who's an angel, and him, and just not additional stress in making sure he has a full recovery in the next few weeks here. It's been humbling to see the level of support and love for his family. And I want to thank all the county elected officials. They've been tremendous this week in their support, not only for myself, but Jim and his wife, and community and friends. In instances like this, you sometimes can only truly appreciate and experience and understand grace and kindness of others. It's been that way with Jim, Christine, and myself, and I really appreciate all the support, and just keep them in your prayers, please. So I'm going to give a quick update, but I do want to thank the people that helped put this on. Rick Regan, he's been amazing. He's helped a lot of the sponsors coming in. Barbara Hedden, who has been taking the sponsors and organizing the tables here. Summer Bushnell, who actually did the Eventbrite. Mike, where's Mike at? Mike's over here, he's amazing. He's doing our gun raffle and he's helped out with a lot of stuff. And then Karen Cassidy in summer with a live auction. And again, I want to thank Chuck too at the hotel. He's been tremendous, and he got me that coconut cake. So you better like the coconut cake. Right? That was special today. So I want to thank everyone. I'm going to put a different hat on right now for the kind words and encouragement this last week, a week and a half, as we heard that Idaho Republican Chairman Jonathan Parker was stepping down. As that acting first vice chair, I became the acting chairman for the state party until the summer meeting. But I do wish Jonathan Parker the best and thank him for his service for his party. And he's been a tremendous support in the last week and just helping me transition. I also want to thank Frank. Frank, will you stand up, please? Frank is our state executive director. The funny thing about Frank, not only is he Italian, which I like to say, but he also he lives in Florida. He grew up in Florida like I did in South Florida, and he went to Miami-Dade College, and so we have that in common. During this period, our main focus was a smooth transition and planning a successful summer meeting. We'll be electing our new chairman. And we've already hammered out that it probably will likely be the end of June. I'm not announced the location yet because I need to let the state central committee people know that first. But Frank's been on top of that, and I really do appreciate that. And we're also looking forward to putting on a fundraiser and having a great speaker. I've been working on that already. I'm hoping to secure an excellent speaker. may be asking, who is this acting chairwoman? Or chairwoman, as Brent told me. Well, it's going to be till June. I plan on not running. It's been an honor and a service, but I am very excited for the state party to see who's going to be our new chairman for the remaining of the 2 terms. I want to start off by saying I love this community, and I'm here to serve not only this community, but the state, country, and this party, because I firmly believe that America is at a tipping point, and we need to realize what our founding fathers envisioned, that we need to be saving it. This nation is the greatest nation on earth, and I believe in the principles of the Republican Party and its platform. Just a little bit about myself. Many people don't know about me. I grew up in South Florida, Maine. I went to Miami-Dade Community College and finished my BA in economics at the University of Southern Maine. And I want to give a big shout out to my husband, Ken Locke. Yes. It's funny, and he's like, what are you doing now? But when the state chair came around, I have to say he was really supportive and said, you got this. And so I just thank my husband. We've been married for 15 years. We have 4 beautiful children. And our story starts off that we were in Virginia Beach and we visited family in North Idaho. And my oldest son was just entering kindergarten. And when I came out to visit here, I said, this is where I want to raise my children. And so not only did we bring our 3 sons at the time out here in 2010, along with that, we made a decision to help move and take care of Ken's dad, Edward Locke. He has been living with ALS for over 30 years, which they think is linked to our Agent Orange exposure. His father was a West Point grad, 82nd Airborne, and received 3 Bronze Stars and a Purple Heart while serving in Vietnam in class of 67 at West Point. Along the way, we had our first child, or I like to say our first child born in Idaho, Isabella Locke. I have 3 boys, and that was a blessing in 2013. And then 2012 came along, well, before that, and I had Bjorn Handeen say, hey, you want to be a precinct committee person? I'm like, sure, what is that? So I got involved in the Republican Central Committee in 2012. And come 2016, this guy came along, Trump. I was like, who is this guy? He's pretty epic. Everyone knew who Trump was, but I said, you know what? I think he's going to win this. And probably a lot of people in Kootenai County thought it was a little crazy at the time, but I went on to help what I could in the primary, and then I was a Trump delegate at the 2016 Republican Convention, and I went on to be a Trump elector in 2016 in December after he won the election. And during that period of time, after he won, I got over 6,000 emails, 2 bags, trash bags full of letters. My phone numbers were handed out online, and I had many calls and Facebook messages, but it was an interesting experience, and it made me stronger in the person I am today. And with that, I want to introduce someone that I think very highly of. I met them last year. She's a mother of 5 beautiful children and is newly elected as Idaho State Representative with a degree from BYU of Idaho in applied science. She has experience in banking and medicine. I met Tammy Nichols last year, and I was impressed right away with her kindness, statesman-like quality, her conservative principles, dedication to the party, and her vision for this nation. She also sees our nation as a tipping point, and she's a rising star and someone to watch these coming years, and I want to introduce Tammy Nichols to the stage. Thank you, guys.
All right, good evening. Thank you for that. That was very kind of you, and I appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here this evening. This is my first time at your Lincoln Days. We just had ours in Canyon County a couple of weeks ago, and it was great, but this is amazing to see the turnout here and all the support that's here in this area. So thanks for having me this evening. So I am newly elected. This is my first term. I'm also a precinct committeeman, but this is my first term in the Idaho Legislature, and it has been an amazing experience. People ask me, so is it everything that you thought it would be? And I said, oh yes, it's everything I thought it would be and even more. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm learning a lot, and it has been amazing. We've had some really interesting things taking place at the Capitol this session. With the changes that have taken place in our government system in general, things have kind of been a little slower than normal, as from other legislators is what I've heard. And so that's been nice. It means that we're passing less laws, and so it's been a good thing. But I wanted to talk a little bit about a recent event. And after this recent event, there has been untruthful, biased media attacks on our Lieutenant Governor, who is here tonight, Janice. I want to share the message of unity and to unite us together to have the conversation about media accountability and genuine criminal justice reform. Should we accept the local media destroying Idahoans' lives with lies and labels? Idahoan Ted Ingles' life was destroyed with lies and labels perpetuated by politically motivated local media. Our fellow Idahoan Todd Ingle was not able to use crucial evidence in his case and vindicate him. Why? Because it was purposely hidden by the federal prosecutors. The local media is purposely withholding critical information from the public. Instead, local media is still giving the public mere surface information and mischaracterizes him in his case. Our Lieutenant Governor has experienced the same lies and labels perpetuated by this politically motivated local media. Janice believes in due process for each and every citizen of Idaho. She was and will continue to, unshamed, stand for complete justice for Todd Ingle. Together we stand with our Lieutenant Governor, Janice, and we stand for complete justice for Todd Ingle. Together, we do not stand for half-baked information motivated by deeply seated political agendas to silence Todd's political beliefs and defame our Lieutenant Governor Janice. It is time for the local media to stop defaming us with labels that destroy our reputations, our businesses, and our lives. And worse, gets us imprisoned or possibly even killed without due process while hiding behind the freedom of the press. Does it take a $250 million lawsuit to prove our point, as we have seen with the young college student and the Washington Post? We are ready to work together towards ending media label lynching once and for all. Why isn't the local media interested in genuine criminal justice reforms? We are. We are ready to have a substantial conversation about genuine criminal justice reforms, and we know it's an important thing for our state and for our nation. And thankfully, we have a president that has been able to uncover what's going on in the media, what the lies have been, the fake news, the way that they have taken information and spun it to try to label lynch people that are trying to do what's good and what's right, and to perpetuate the conservative movement that is here in our nation. We see how things that are being promoted in socialism and complete communism are trying to be what the media portrays as normal and good, and we know that that's not correct. We need to stand for our values, stand for our beliefs, stand for what's good and true for our way of life, for the people here in our state and for in our nation. We need to support our president, ask our Congress to act and do what they are supposed to do, that we put them in position to do. Congressman Fulcher is here, and we appreciate the effort that he's putting and for the way that he stands up for our state. And I ask you tonight to please all come together, help us to be able to accomplish this, help us to be able to do what is right for our state and for our people, and not let the media portray us in the ways that we know are wrong. Thank you.